Hey you guys, today I'm going to be making a video about putting on my makeup. My face has changed a little bit because of the steroids, so I've got some moon face. My cheekbones aren't my cheekbones. I mean, they're under there, they're under the poof. I've got a little bit of poof here. But yeah, a couple of days ago, a video came up of me putting on my makeup, and my makeup routine has changed quite a bit because Bacon has changed so much, just with the fat grafting and the radiation, and she's gotten her trip to Mexico gave her a little bit of sun, so it's kind of weird. It's like this patch here matches the color on my legs, and a little bit, I mean, it's just different skin, that's all, but it's still one at the end of the day, once I finish blending everything in, that she's gonna look like nothing else, you know, like the rest. I'm also gonna show you guys how I handle the two different colors of my eyelids. Well, see, like this one's got kind of a darker cast than this one does, so I'm gonna match those up, bring up my cheekbones, do a light contouring. I mean, it's daytime, so I don't want to be too extra, even though in order to bring out my cheekbones I gotta use some highlighter. So I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna stick Fluffy on first, and I have to use this pre-cleanser. This is by Final Touch Brows. This is the company that I go to for my eyebrows. They're human hair eyebrows. I am not paid by them. They don't give me money. They don't give me eyebrows. It'd be cool if they did. Final Touch Brows, it'd be cool if you guys did that. But I'm not asking for it. I'd rather pay for your product and service because you guys are giving me something awesome, and I don't really like freebies so much. So, because it makes me feel guilty, like I'm obligated to do something, whatever. That's just my own moral. That's just me being me. So I keep a couple of Fluffies. And what I usually do is, because depending on how much, I don't even know what, depending on all the things, my remaining eyebrow looks a little different depending on the light or depending on, you know, whatevs. So I'll kind of like pull out, I've got two right now working. I have to get another order. I do a special order with Final Touch Brows, so they send me only left eyebrows, so I'm not wasting a right one, which is great. So I take a look and I say, is these the color for today? It's a little redder, a little darker. What I sometimes do is I'll run my pencil that I have over the hair brow, just to kind of match this to this, and I kind of do a little bit of blending, and between the two it works out pretty good. Let's see, this one has a little bit of remaining pencil on it, so let's give it a little smooth out, because it looks like this eyebrow is looking very well loved, so I think I might give her some loving before I stick her on. And a little brush all the little hairs down. Take a pair of scissors and see, like, they get little crazy hairs. I think you guys can see that. See the crazy hairs? There we go. So yeah, as these eyebrows age, they get a little funny, but you can reuse them pretty much until they really start looking gross. You can clean them with makeup remover and the glue removal stuff they give you. That works out pretty good to get any kind of residue or extra glue off. And it also moisturizes the hair, because this is like human hair. It's the real deal, so it needs to be taken care of like an organic material, you know, because it's obviously hair. So you need to condition it, you need to love it, or give it some good love. So let's check the color on this one. That's a little better. So I think we're gonna go with this one. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna set my little eyebrow aside there. And I'm going to take some pre-cleanser and I'm going to spray it onto this microfiber rag that I keep. I keep microfiber rags because I realize, like, with all the cleaning and rubbing and whatever, I'm going through like a bajillion of those stupid cotton pads. And they don't really take off as much as I would like. And they're not, it's just wasteful. Like, I'm that crazy lady that's like, I keep a bucket of like reusable bags, and yes, I'm doing my whole face, just because this also helps the primer that I use stick really nice, as well as the all the makeups and things. You want to start with a nice clean base, because otherwise it's like a clean wall before you paint it. So here we go. So I'm all cleaned up. And this stuff smells pretty good. It's not terrible. They've changed their formula somewhat since the last time, so it's a little bit more gentle. The other stuff was like, holy mackerel, this is like totally rubbing alcohol and grapefruit. Now it's a little bit less intense. It's still really gentle. It's gentle enough for me to use on Bacon. Bacon doesn't get super pissed about it anymore. Actually, I've been able to like leave my eyebrow on for like, I think I've maxed out at like 3 days, and I've gone swimming, I've showered with it, I've done all this stuff, so it's kind of awesome. Now that, you know, now that she's all healed up and she's done all the things. So let's get going here. All right, so this is the glue. It's got some glue on it. This is pretty goopy stuff. It's similar to, this also by Final Touch. Because this is their like whole system. Like when you do buy brows from them, they'll give you their whole, like not give you, but you also have to buy their whole like stick thing on system. Just because that's, you're not gonna, I ran out of glue once and I made the mistake of using eyelash glue to get my eyebrow on. I ended up ruining that thing. It was dead. Absolutely dead. Like dead to the point where it was, like, oh God, I destroyed my eyebrow. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wanting to do this. Don't say, oh, I could save a couple bucks by just, you know, using a whatever. Don't use the whatever. Use the products they give you with their brows. They've worked out all the shit already. They've figured it out. Let them, you know, it's worth it. I promise. It's worth it being able to go swim without having a do-rag on. It's worth it being able to wake up in the morning with an eyebrow. Oh, this is my favorite song. I'm Alive by Sia. Do you hear that? Yeah, that's kind of my anthem at the moment. I'll put a link to her video in it. Lately her songs have been speaking to me. In the past it was Tori Amos. But for a bit it was Alt J. Alt J gets a little dark though. Especially Breeze Blocks. Although it's a beautiful song. A little dark. The video's a little dark too. Actually really fucking dark. But still the music is lovely. They make beautiful harmonies. Alright, and so, oh shit. That's leftover glue from the other thing. I swear to God, I have a clean apartment. A clean bathroom. Alright, so to match them up, I'm going to look up in the mirror here and take a quick look-see. I usually just stick the tip on and kind of swirl it around a little bit. Use my fingers to match it up. And a lot of the time, I mean, because this eyebrow has been worn a bunch, it just sort of... And then I hold it down and I relax my face. Look in the mirror and say, all right, looking good, honey. Very nicely done. So I press it down with my finger and I kind of hold it there just for a bit to make sure I get a really good stick on the glue. This glue is very finicky. They have changed the formula for it since they've gone through a few formula changes. So you really do need to let it, like you paint it on the brow and you have to let it rest just for a bit. That gives me more time to run my mouth because I'm on steroids and it's like speed, so I can talk forever and maybe that'll be helpful with this video. You'll be like, oh my God, she's like telling us her life story. Oh, actually, I have been telling y'all my life story, so here we are. Okay, so my eyebrow is stuck on. It's still a little tacky. We're just gonna wait a moment. I'm gonna pull out my, first I'm gonna pull out my glue remover and spray my hand with it because it's icky. I got glue on my hands. But yeah, this stuff is actually really nice. It's very moisturizing. It pulls out like, it'll break up the glue like an MFer. If you all choose, you know, those of y'all who need a brow, just be mindful, like don't touch your brow with anything greasy after. That was just me taking off the extra because where I scrolled around right there. But yeah, it's oil. It's gonna stain. So make sure you wipe it up and get it off. But I do like to rub, like this stuff is actually really nice just like afterward. Once you've removed once you remove the brow, you rub it on and just like give the skin a little extra. All right, so we're all done with the brow goodies. 11 minutes later. Now I'm gonna go on to primer. I use La Roche-Posay's anti-aging, what is it? La Roche-Posay Athelios Daily Anti-Aging Primer with Sunscreen. It's SPF 50, which is kind of cute. I'm at the end of this jar, so I'm not gonna show you, like, it ain't pretty. Actually, I think I might have a fresh one. Hang on, please. So I got a fresh one thinking, oh man, I'm running out. So I'll show you guys the fresh one, but I'm totally gonna be opening up the crappy one. This is the good stuff. I really like it. It goes on really smooth. When it gets to the end of the jar, unfortunately, it gets sort of like dry and crumbly, which I do not like. But I mean, you know, you expose anything to air and it's gonna dry out, so shit happens. All right, here we are. Now, I'm gonna get some of this primer. Haha. So let's see. Yeah, I just kind of smear it on. Nothing any different than any of those other makeup YouTubing people. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna smear this stuff on. Yes, and I do put a lot. Because I do all over my neck, because it is an SPF product. It's anti-aging. It takes care of my crazy neck things that are happening here from the radiation. If you notice that like there's a slight color difference down, there's kind of a line, you can see it. It's still there. It's still ever present. It hasn't really changed or gotten worse. It's just there. There's a scar from the lymph node removal. But there's been a lot of trauma in the area, so I think it's important to protect it and also to treat it the same way you treat your face. I mean, it's your neck, your head's on top of it. You don't want like, so here we are. Let's get a good look, make sure we're all blended in. See, and you could already see the difference. Like it makes everything smoother. I don't have a whole lot of pores. Thank you, radiation. But since the great swell of, I'm gonna do the top of my eyelids so my eyeshadow sticks nicely and doesn't end up causing creases, because I do have hooded eyes and they look, if you don't put primer here, you're gonna end up with the big fat like makeup creases, and that's not sexy. So where am I? Oh yeah, since the great swell and my moon phase stuff, a lot of things have sort of come to the surface, which is kind of weird. So a lot of like old blackhead, like I'm getting a lot of blackheads here just because there's fluid underneath the skin, so it pushes, I guess, not a doctor, not a dermatologist, but I guess it pushes and causes pressure, so therefore like a lot of things come to the surface. And you know what, it is what it is. I'm human, I have zits. Nobody's perfect. Especially not me, I'm far from fucking perfect. All right, so my next step is I really like this Jane Iredale Dream Tint. It's kind of a tinted moisturizer. It doesn't have a whole lot of coverage, but it does sort of, again, it evens things out. It has an SPF of 15. It's really gentle on the skin. I like their products. They don't pay me money. Nobody pays me money. Except for my job. Now I'm like, what do you do for a living? I'm a graphic designer. So I'm gonna smear this on. And also on the eyelids. Yes, there's a, like, it's really good to get even everywhere, because if you're gonna put on makeups, you want a nice, clean, even surface. And that's with any kind of art, right? You want to start with fresh. Oh shit, got a little overzealous there. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir at this point. I mean, there's so many people that are like experts, and I'm not. I'm just an expert in doing my own face. I mean, I could put face on other people. A lot of the principles are the same. All right. Let's take a quick look here. See how things are looking. Not bad. A little fluffy on fluffy. Eyelash still looking great. Thank you, Bailey. Yes, I will freely, like, she's Bailey. She's amazing. All right, so my next step is foundation. I've already primed and prepped. I mean, I could go out just as is. I have gone out just as is. I've just smeared this stuff on and called it a day after primer. But I'm feeling a little extra. I have an infusion today. I'm going to the oncologist, and I kind of just, I've been momming it up for a good couple of days. And Thursday is my day. And the girls are with their dad. They're at school at the moment. So, oh, here we are. What it was? I used Becca Skin Love. It's a really nice match to my, yeah, you like that? Shaking? Thank you, steroids. So this is Becca Skin Love. They make a really lovely foundation. It comes in a shit ton of colors, and I love it. And it's one of the ones that, well, it's the one that I like to use because it matches beautifully. Y'all see, it's kind of awesome. So I used to use blenders. And then I met a really wonderful makeup artist named Candy Glass here in Austin. She's the one that turned me on to Jane Iredale. So that's what she uses on her clients. And I met her through the Shade Project. And Miss Glass, Miss Candy Glass, is like, you know what? I've been doing this for like 30-something years. And she's like, nothing gives you as good of a blend as a finger. And you know what? She's right. Clean hands do a beautiful job, and you can have all the doodads and whatever the hells, but man, a nice finger. That sounds really naughty. A nice finger does the job very well. Fuck. Oh, terrible. All right, so basically, I just use my hand and sort of blend everything gently, and sort of eyeball it, you know, and look in the mirror and look at you guys. But you can kind of see that, like, the lines are getting a little fuzzier and fuzzier, and just sort of, and there we are. Isn't that neat? No more color corrector because it doesn't have angry red spot except for that tiny scar right there. And that tiny scar is because the reason, and I'm not, my surgeon's fucking amazing, but there's a lot of movement in this part of the face. So it is very difficult when you do have a scar and you have an injury in this vicinity. And I'm just tapping on the makeup right now here because scar tissue is funny. It doesn't absorb a gosh darn thing. So you have to be gentle and generous with the application of any kind of cover-up or whatever. So see, I just sort of tapped it on there, and I have to leave it the hay alone now. And now I do the top of my lid because clean palette. Do you see the color difference? You see how this is like, this already looks like it's got makeup on it? There is no makeup. That's from injury. That's never gonna go away. I've actually debated on contacting like some of those YouTube makeup artists and be like, hey y'all, how do you deal with this? But it took me some time and I figured it out, which is great. But I'm still curious to see how they would handle it. Like, hey, you guys, what would you do? Like, if you had one eye that was a completely different, somewhat different shape, because they're different, nobody's symmetrical. But with this, it's definitely different. On my nose, on my cheeks. But I'm just rubbing. So it's definitely different. And so with the color shift from injury and radiation and blah, 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 this side of my face is actually somewhat more aged than the other. It also has no hair, which is kind of cool. This side has a little hair because, you know, skin makes hair. Our whole bodies are covered with hair. That's what pores are. And in my little scar there, this is where the node came from. One that tested positive for melanoma and put me at stage 3A. So now we have the full landscape. I'm just gonna blend down and see if... All right, so our palettes, we're pretty much ready to go. We're gonna start putting on some powders and stuff, and I'm gonna start using some brushes because fingers, powders, All right, so let's see. Let's take a look. I'm gonna do my eyebrow first for shits and giggles. Usually I don't, I usually leave it for last, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna find my little pencil here. It's by Anastasia. And my little spoolie for blending. And just look in the mirror and kind of say like, all right, this is about where things are. And just do it up. Extend it out a little bit because, you know, it's gotta match. But the thing about eyebrows, and I said this in my other video, and I'll say it again, and I agree with my friends, eyebrows should be sisters and not twins. So if there are little imperfections between like one and the other, it's not a big deal. It just makes you know, oh look, she's human. She has slightly imperfect eyebrows. I mean, they look over each eye, they look great. But are they exactly the same? No. And they don't have to be. Just a little quick. Tucking it up just ever so slightly. We'll take a look in the sunlight here in a moment after we're all finished because you can't hide anything from the sun. Well, you can. UPF clothing. Aha, you got, yeah. UPF clothing and sunscreen will definitely help, but you can always see all your makeup's imperfections in the sun, especially really direct sunlight. It's like, Alrighty, next step, let's move on to, let's just work our way down, shall we? Or do we want to go with contouring next? I don't know, I'm not a professional. Let's contour this bitch up, All right, so I talked about the status of my cheekbones, which is unfortunate, but it is only temporary. Once I get off the steroids and my body flushes them out, and it's a slow wean. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I make a weird face when I do this so we can see the happy cheekbones. And I traced along the line. She's barely fucking there. But okay, so because we've got damage here, see how it's slightly different, the shape? It's because we lost the muscle. And for fun. Underneath. And here. Because I like my chin. I usually don't go around the edge, it just seems like too much. I take care of that. And of course I'm blending with my finger. And I take care of that with bronzer. Just kind of like, so I don't look all pasty. Tiny. And just tick, 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 tick. Because, you know, contouring our nose is kind of fun. All right, now let's pick a face. But yeah, with once all the steroids kind of get flushed out of my system, my face should return back to normal, which would be great. And let's just blend that out. But yeah, I have to do a slow wean because I need to make sure I'm not gonna like freaking have another episode where I'm running an insane fever and crapping my brains out, literally. All right, so let's go with next step. Gonna use some bronzer. Ooh, that's a little hard, isn't it? I don't know, sometimes when I see girls like that are like super contoured, like sometimes the cheek one looks like a 5 o'clock shadow. Like, oh look, I think I might be there. Might be the 5 o'clock shadow phase, I don't know. But once I get the other stuff on, it should be good. All right, so here we are, bronzer. e.l.f., nothing special, nobody pays me. Why do I keep saying that? Like, I feel like it's like this weird disclosure. Like, no, I'm not getting money for what I'm doing. I'm just doing it to inform you guys and educate and raise awareness and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Because I feel like so many, you know, so many of us, like, we're doing this, like, we do this alone in a way. And so, you know, to be able to have someone say, hey, look, you know what? Here's what I got. This is what works for me. Let's see, you know, this might help. That's kind of why I do it, to help. So, blush. Now here comes the happy camper. Oh, Frankie Gabby, I love it. I love makeups. And it's a half an hour, it's almost a half an hour. I have to leave the house in 30 minutes to go see my oncologist and get my knockoff Remicade infusion today. And a little chin, a little whatever there. All right, now I'm all rosy, a little contoured, but nothing crazy. Like, I don't like to, it's daytime. I don't really need to be super extra, just extra enough to the point where I feel pretty. All right. I feel pretty anyway. As of right now, for pretty puffy, but I still feel good. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to my eyes. You're gonna have to forgive this palette. It's well loved. This is the Comfort Zone palette by Wet n Wild. I use that one all the time. This is my base because this, if you notice, is the same color as this. And this is my most favorite brush from Sephora. I freaking love it. It does everything. I've seen, you know, I've watched all the makeup tutorials on like how to do all this stuff. And they're like, oh, this is how you do it. And I use 800 brushes. And I'm like, why do you, I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get why, you know, each one has its own job. Each one will give you a different blend. Each one will hold a different amount of product. Each one will do the, ooh, cookies. But each one will do a different thing. Okay, fine. But the thing is, it's like I found one that does all the things. This thing is awesome. I mean, sometimes I'll use a blendy one, but it's like Cold Day in Hell. Like this is my most favorite. And I've tried to find others to kind of keep as like spare, you know? But they just haven't done it, and I really hope Sephora, like if this brush ever dies, I'm gonna be the saddest. I'm gonna be so freaking sad. All right, so see how we're getting closer to sort of the same color. Now I'm gonna go in with the contouring. Now I'm gonna go in with a contouring palette. I got a phone call. People called me. I should have used my iPad. I didn't. I also had my kid's alarm go off. I had a whole bunch of this shit happening on my phone. But I'm lazy and I just want to do it on my phone so I can sit at the oncologist's office and upload this video and edit it however I choose. And whoever the hell from Houston, Texas is calling me, they can wait. I like talking to you guys better. So here we are. Here's my contouring palette from e.l.f. It is also, ooh, sorry, it has remnants of primer on it. I was overzealous getting it out of the package because my hands are shaky. So here we are. I'm going to use this right here. It's the darker shade. And what I'm going to do is, do you see how this has this color difference? See how this does not? So I'm going to match this to this. Y'all can take a look-see here, how it sort of happens. And I do add a tiny bit of the darker stuff to the affected eye. It doesn't show up very well because it's a similar color. And see what's happening here, ladies? And gentlemen, I mean, why not? Maybe there's a guy watching. Maybe there isn't. Who knows? Makeups are for everybody. And then get that up in there. Now, a little closer. Let me just get up in there with this one. Sorry, I'm like blocking it with my hand. I just kind of follow along the crease. I'll make it a little dark today. I don't know what's happening. All right, so now silver. So after this, I'll sometimes add color. I love eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is one of my most favorite things to do my makeup. Like, I always go crazy on my eyes. My lips, I usually leave natural or have a little gloss or a little tint. But for the most part, I like doing fun things with my eyes because the eyes are the windows to the soul. Today, I am wearing blue with some extra. So, I'm going to be a fancy lady and add a little bit of, I think I might add a little purple. My eyes are hazel. So it's kind of like I have a lot of, how do I explain it? I'm gonna use this color here. Just a little bit. And because why not? I like purple. And then I can't remember. This is so freaking old. I don't know if, I think CoverGirl sells it anymore. I keep my makeup and eyeshadows forever, and I know that's naughty. I know I shouldn't. I totally do. Just because I like variety. It doesn't, I mean, I know it goes bad. I know it does. Also, I'm gonna hit the interior corner here and here with a little bit of a lighter part of my blush. It's powder. You could kind of use, like, I figure, like, with powders, we can basically whatever we want. Yeah, I've looked at some other people's videos and I'm like, ooh, I like how they hit up that little inside crease. I'm not really so fond of this because I have smaller almond-shaped eyes, so I feel like this closes the eye. But, I mean, there are other makeup artists who also have smaller almond-shaped eyes, and they go to freaking town under here. I'm not quite at that level to go to town under here yet, but what I do to open up my eyes, I have to find it first. I wasn't really prepared to do it. I mean, I brought up my makeup box, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just do the things, but, here it is. All right, so I use a white pencil underneath in the white part, and I also take it through to the corner here, and also sometimes the corner there. So I'm gonna get up in there and go underneath and under here, like so. And that kind of extends the white of the eye, so it opens it up a little bit and makes it look a little bit more bright, a little bit more awakes. Good morning. All right, so how are we doing so far? Pretty good. I'm satisfied with this. A little bit of mascara on the bottom and a smidge on the top, and I think we might be in business to spray my face. Ooh, a little lip. A little lip. I'm not really needing to, oh, you know what I should do though? Baking. I have to bake bacon. I mean, the best way to cook bacon is baking, at least in my opinion. It gives it a nice even cook. But with this bacon, I also need to give it a little baking. Just to, like, I mean, she doesn't sweat because she is a skin graft. The rest of my face sweats, quite liberally, in fact. In fact, sweating has become a new hobby of mine. It's my favorite. It's gotten kind of ridiculous lately in that department. I'm sweating so much at night that I wake up with leg cramps because I'm so goddamn dehydrated. And it doesn't matter how much water I drink because then it all just comes the fuck out. Okay, but then my face still looks like, well, moon. I'm gonna go back through again. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot highlighter. Let's get this up in here. Yeah, I'm gonna go back through with blush again, just because you see how this finishing powder, this mattifying powder by Wet n Wild, because I don't think there are certain products that I'll spend a shit ton of money on, like the Anastasia eyebrow pencil and my eyebrows and the La Roche-Posay things, but for the most part, I can't bring myself to go crazy and be like, I'm gonna spend $500 million on a freaking, when Wet n Wild makes a really good one, and it does the job very nicely. So, enough with that little rant. Let's go in with blush again, just to give my cheekbones a little extra. I am gonna go back to that same color. I have a couple different ones depending on my mood and depending on what I'm wearing. I like to kind of do my makeup as a nod to my clothes. Like this outfit, I'm underneath where you can't see. I'm wearing a pair of white jeans. My oncologist's office in the infusion room is quite chilly, so pants are definitely a good idea. Let me just give us a little. There we are. Now, hi. How's it going? Here we are. Highlighter. I have a couple. I actually sometimes even cheat and use an eyeshadow, and I think that might be where I'm going. I just have to find it. It's by Bare Minerals. I think it's called like Snowflake or something. It looks really pretty and sparkly and light. It's a loose powder, so it's kind of fun. Let's see if I can find it up in here. Like talk to you and like search with my hand at the same time, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. One moment, please. Is it, oh, poop, I just stuck my hand, it's, gosh darn it. The one thing, okay, so look, I just said, hey, I really like, you know, less expensive products, and that's usually what I use. The problem with the less expensive products is not so much what's in the container, my friends, it is what the container is made out of. I've had so many containers that just like fall apart to like nothing. Like the hinges break, the whatever. And I don't, frankly, I don't really like that. I wish, like, I understand where the money was saved. The product is good, the stuff inside the container is good, but the container is a piece of shit. Here is the Bare Minerals stuff. I have my little highlighter brush. I like to use this because it... Notice how the shape is very similar to my most favorite brush. I like the shape. So, dab a little on there. That's a lot. I'm not going that crazy. Not going to the club. Just going to the oncologist. Should I blow it off? It's a lot of product to say bye-bye to. And then blend it up. Isn't that pretty? I'll see my cheekbones from space now. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Maybe a little with the remaining product. Ooh, that's a lot. Oh my god! Finger to the rescue. It's fine, I could just add a little more on the other side. Why not? We'll go crazy. The most highlighted cheekbones on the planet. Be beautiful. And tip of the nose. Cupid's bow. You gotta look kissable, right? Oh, speaking of kissable. I don't know if I want to say it or not. My divorce is final. My divorce will be final by the end of the day today. There. I'm officially, by tomorrow, I will be unattached. Or at least dislodged from my ex-husband. Which is nice. It's nice to be free, like really free. As opposed to, you know, mock free, because I was just separated. But that's still freedom at the end of the day. I've been separated for a year, which is also nice. Now let us see, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. I usually go in with something a little darker. I know it's weird, like what? It's for the tint and the pigment. So, this is also another Sia song. Let's Move Your Body. It's a good one to like. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go dancing. All right, so I only use a tiny bit. Like really tiny. That's a little more than I wanted. But my most precious blending tool. And I blend it out. Oh, Tom, I know it's hard being a cat. My cat Tom is a bathroom cat. He loves coming in the bathroom. Should I let him in? Yeah. Oh, is it hard being a Tom? Yes, it is. All right, so here we are. This is why these microfiber towels are amazing. Because they take stuff off. Here we are. Yeah, it's just a tint. It's just a little bit because we don't need a lot. We have a lot going on here. Mascara. Mascara, and then I spray all over with this stuff. I like it. It's kind of awesome. Like I've gone swimming in full makeup. Like after spraying this stuff out when I was in Mexico, I made a point to be extra pretty much every day because, I mean, you're on vacation, you should be extra every day. I know, Tom. I hear you. I feel you. I'm in the bathroom. He's like climbing on my back. He's like being like, Mommy, you're in the bathroom. This is I'm a bathroom cat. It's like every time I come in here, he's like, hey, how's it going? Love you. I wonder what you're doing outside. All right, see? I know I messed up. I'm gonna wait for this to dry. There's a trick. If you wait don't smear it off right away. No, you're just gonna make a mess and you're gonna fuck up everything you just did. You wait for it to dry. I know, it's hard. You wanna wipe it off. You wait for it to dry and then you take a spoolie and it just... So we're gonna do that. And it just pops off because dried up mascara is essentially, it's like dried up paint. It'll just pop off, and with the volume of powder and whatnot on my face, it shouldn't stick. Or it shouldn't stick very well. But there is a painting rule, however. Wet paint sticks to dry paint and dry paint sticks to wet paint. That's another thing to think about. But I suspect it also depends on what medium you're using. Okay, this I have to do in the mirror, so bear with me, please. Because I can't move, like, there's no muscle, so I can't really move, like, it moves, but not really, so I need to take a moment, my friends. I kind of need to, like, hold the lid open and make that stupid face that everybody makes when they put on mascara. All right, we are almost done. Do a quick double check before I show y'all. Maybe I need a smidge, something on the other side. Not this one. Sorry. I'm going in with this. I'm putting a little bit on the top lid. I'll show you why. You see how, like, this side's top lid looks a little lighter than that side, so that's what we're doing. Just lightening it up. I'm all the way down here. Sorry, I'm kneeling at the moment in front of my phone. And I think we're in business. Now let's take care of that before we spray. You ready? Ha ha! Goodbye! And it's gone. Magic bananas. All right, you guys. So let's take a quick look. Any other things need to be done? Aside from, I'm not really sure what the hell that is. It's been kind of on and off. We're gonna talk to the dermatologist. Yeah, I think we're looking good. So we spray. This is one of my favorite parts. I don't know why. Actually, it feels really good to spray stuff on your face. And then we wait for it to dry before we open our eyes because eye crease. All right, well, I'm gonna take my hair down and give it a quick zing with hairspray. Get that all in order. Yes, I leave my hair also in a microfiber towel, and I plop it in there with a shit ton of mousse to hold the curl. It's gonna be humid as hell here in ye old Austin, Texas, because we may get rain over the weekend. It's been like 100 degrees every gosh darn day. I don't know what number we're at this point. I think it's something stupid. It usually gets stupid in August here anyway. Let's take a quick look-see. Make sure all that stuff stays put. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. We'll deal with that momentarily. All right, well, here we are. This is the finished product. Thank you guys for watching. I'm looking at like 45 minutes. I mean, I've been running my mouth and I haven't been hurrying. So thank you for watching. As always, go to the dermatologist, go get yourself checked. If there's something weird, you know, you cut it off, test it, and then you'll know. And then you'll be able to solve the problem instead of waiting too goddamn long and ending up like me. So, all the best to you guys. And yeah, love y'all.